back to school, part-time, 5 years, I'll take 2 classes a semester. Be specific. And then your goals need to be measurable. You need to measure them. Okay, is it feasible for me to take these 2 classes? Do I need a tutor if it's math? Do I need someone to help me? Measure the time and the goals of that specific chore that you want to do. That way you don't get burned out. Is it attainable? For me, math is not my stronghold. I did enough math just to get by. So there's no way I can say I'm going to be a mathematician. It is not attainable. It is never going to happen. So if you're going to do classes, is it okay for you to ask yourself, is it okay for me to take 2 classes or 3 classes? Will I be able to attain that grade? Like in a master's degree, you need to have a B. Bachelor's and associates, you can pass with a C. But you have to ask yourself, will it be attainable for me to take 3 classes and get that B? So plan accordingly. And then R is to be realistic. Sometimes we push ourselves so much. I'm going to have this. I'm part-time. Instead of doing 5 years, I'm going to do 3 years. But is it attainable? How is your whole well-being going to be? You need to be connected to people. You can't just cut off and say, I'm not going to go to church. I'm not going to go for parties because I'm in this program. We all need each other. So whatever you do, remember you are all connected, and everything has to be attainable. And then you have to ask yourself, is it realistic? Then you ask yourself, is it timely? Will you be able to complete this chore in 5 years? Is it realistic for you? Is it okay for you to do it in 3 years? Like, plan smart goals. That way, that will reduce your stress. Think of yourself as a social being. Connect with your mental health. Know that we all cannot come out of. People go through bankruptcy, and they come out of it. After 7 years, you have a clean slate. You fall, you have to get up. Ask God to give you the strength to get up. Think of the goodness of God. You fail out of a nursing school, I had friends, or any program. That's not the end of the world. Do you know how many other schools are out there? And it's time. Next year will come, but you have time to get to your destination, to get to your goals. So I just had to throw that out. Don't ever think that taking your life is the answer, that you're not loved enough by people. You are very loved, and we are all connected. Think of the goodness of God. R, for the part of the growth, rely on God. Everything that we do, we need to connect it to the Bible. There's no life. You cannot live life without God. I don't even know how people say, I'm not a Christian. I don't know how to live my life without God. Let us stay plugged in, like we were saying, the Bible. Take time to read the Bible, not for emergency. Make it a lifestyle. You know how they say, make being healthy, your health life to be a lifestyle? Do it every day. Take time to pray. Take time to meditate. Rely on God. So even when those storms come, you'll see growth. G, the goodness of God. I can rely on God. And you always remind God, and you always have hope. Have hope in the things that, in your mind, that things will get better. And then O, open your heart. Do not close your heart. Ask God to let you, like I like to think of the serenity prayer. God, give me the strength to accept the things that I cannot change. I know I cannot do math. I cannot be a mathematician. I just do enough to get by. Accept that there's a weakness that you have, but also know you have strengths. So don't major on your weaknesses, major on your strength. Open your heart to new things and know that God is there for you. Don't close your heart to him. And W, waiting. There's so many things many of us have been asking God, and we keep saying, God, I asked you this last year, and now here we are in 2024. The year is about to end. Next week is September. Just know God is never late. Wait upon the Lord, and he will come through for you. And remember, you are the child of the Most High God. God jealously loves you. Some of the things we ask for, they are not in the will and the purpose of God. So when God says no, accept it, because he sees the end from the beginning. And if it's in the purpose of God, as we bloom, there's growth, like a tree. A tree just doesn't grow, in a day. It takes years to bloom. That is where we connect with each other. So remember, wait on God and don't get tired, because he has the best for you. T, timing. God's timing is the best. Don't create an Ishmael when God has promised you an Isaac. Trust in the Lord and let him give you that gift that he has said he'll give you. Don't go out of your way to make that gift come, because now you have an Ishmael, then you have issues, about Abraham and Ishmael and the promised child. Don't get tired. When God speaks to you and tells you something, trust in him. He's not a man that he should lie. He will come through for you. And then the H after the GROWTH is hope. Expect to see the goodness of God in your life. Yes, there are so many things going on in life. Some of us have children who are making our gray hair get grayer, But pray for them. Don't get tired of praying. Trust in the Lord. Trust also in getting help. There's help out there. Trust that when you go to see a professional, you will get help. It's like we trust our children with the school system, right? You're not going to go and teach your children math and the curriculum because you're not a professional, right? You're not a teacher. So trust in the profession and go and get help. So one of the things that our facilitator was saying is connecting work and family. So for me, over the years, I have 4 children, by the way, my husband and I, 4 children. 25, 21, 12, and 8. It's not easy being a mom and juggling life and going to school and working and trying to keep this social networking, which we need to bloom. Because if you're not plugged in, then you die. As like that cell phone charger, you have to be plugged into God, plugged into the community. What I would say is, if you're feeling burned out, sit back and do an inventory of your life. Do a self-reflection. How can I make my life better? Do I really need to take classes this semester if my life is falling apart, if I cannot handle my children activities, if I can't help with homework, if I can't be a wife or a mother, a sister? There's always tomorrow. So sit back and look. Things don't have to be done now. We're in this society where you have to, when someone says something, you have to reply to them. When someone does something, you have to, sometimes silence is a communication. You're speaking. So not doing is doing, So don't always feel like you have to go. No, as a wife, as a mother, as a woman, it's okay to take a break from some things. It's okay. So if making a meal every day is stressing you, make a meal on Saturday and just put it in the fridge. That will take time to make it, but that will give you free time. Just plan accordingly to reduce your stress. And what was the other question? The other things you wanted us to talk about? You talked about work. You talked about being a social being, connections. I don't want to leave anything out. While you're looking. So SMART goals. Remember, we want to get to the peak, not to the pit. The pit is where you're so depressed you can't get out of bed, when things are so bad and you're losing everything. And you know what? There's so many services here in America that you can get help. You know that. If you don't have money for the light bill, there are services where they can help out. So all is not lost. And then we are community. All you have to do is talk to a church leader, one of the community organizers, and we can help out. It shouldn't get to a point where you feel like you want to end your life or it's over, because we are all connected. Did I answer everything? What did I miss out? Okay, I kind of had it in my mind and I was like, I think I'm on the 6th part. Okay, anyone have any questions for me? I think that's all I had to say. Okay. Yes. While you're writing, I know you may be thinking, I want to give you an example of my life on mental health, because I want to give you time to write. So I'm a retired U.S. Air Force. I joined the Air Force when I was younger, and then I did 21 years. So I did active duty and I did reserves. And during that time when I was in the military, I went to Afghanistan. I'm a combat veteran. When I came back from Afghanistan, something had changed in me. I didn't realize it, but my family members told me. So it's very important for you to be connected so you can bloom and have another person in your life that they can tell you that something is off. For me, that person was my husband and my mom. I changed. I used to be, now this is how I used to be. I'm happy, I love parties, and I love being with people. That time, I secluded. I was very, very depressed. I was diagnosed with moderate depression. Like, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to shower. I didn't want to comb my hair. So mental health is such a big deal. I want you to know that I am a person that went through depression and anxiety. I trust in God. I went to God and I grew stronger as a Christian, but I also sought help. Even till today, I do have a psychiatrist and a psychologist, and I do take some medicine because I do get depressed. Some things, for me, it's trauma. There are different kinds of trauma. Childhood traumas, there are those who've had accidents. There are those who, everyone has a certain trauma. It's how to handle it. So for me, I had to get someone to help me. So I want you to know that because of that, I sought help, medical help, and I connected to Christ. So for me to be here to bloom, as you're seeing me blooming, I had a mentor, my mom. and my husband too, and the church and friends, people who love me. So you cannot bloom when you're depressed, when you're not whole. Everything has to connect. So I just wanted to give you that example. And because of that, that's why I'm here. I managed to go back to school, and that is what helped me. So living proof, mental health, help works. Thank you.
I'm glad you talked about mental health, and I'm an advocate for therapy, by the way. But being in an African community, I know that's most people who go through that are not comfortable coming out and talking about it. And even those who go through it, it's most times difficult for them to actually accept help or even know that they need help. So how did you, at what point did you actually realize, you know what, I need help? Because many times we don't know we need help. You know what I mean? Even those around us who go through that, it's difficult to help them, because how do you get them to realize that they need help? So for you, how did you handle that? Thank you.
So my husband is the one who noticed that I've changed. And I didn't see it. He's the one who was saying, Alice, you get so angry. This is not how it used to be. You just snap. And then I wouldn't sit, like you see how we are sitting in the back, that way, the door. I was always so hyper vigilant. But to answer your question, how did I seek help? Number one, being in the US military. In America, there's people don't have that stigma as much as our culture, our community. And that helped me, because when my commander also saw my productivity went down, because I was always, on time, doing things, and then slowly I started not performing. So I was, given the chance to get help. And I had to get help because it was a mandate. So for me, that's what got me through. But for us, that is where we need to remove the stigma of mental health and remove the language that a lot of people use, the derogatory language of, huyo mwendazimu, that, all those words that people say casually. You'd be surprised, it just takes one thing to trigger something. So that is why we need to remove that stigma. We need to talk about it and bring awareness that it's okay to get help. And for us, when we go home, we need to encourage our loved ones that when they come and they tell you, I don't feel okay, I'm a bit depressed, like my daughter, the one who was here, she went to talk with the college students. One day she came to me and she started crying. I said, Nimo, are you okay? She started crying. I said, oh my goodness. I asked her, what is it? She said, I'm failing my classes, my college classes. That was last year. And I said, why? She started saying, I don't know. I just go to class. I'm scared. So I told her, it's okay, Nimo. Let's talk about this. Let's find out why. And anxiety. So I took time to listen. So what I want to say is take time to listen. Don't tell someone, snap out of it. I'll be like, oh, Nimo, please, just get yourself together. You'll be, no. Take time to listen, because it's a neural imbalance. There's a spiritual aspect of it, and there's the mental, the physical part of it. So let's be open to talking about it. Let's be open to not chastising those, even drinking, by the way. Kenyans, not just Kenyans, different communities, but some people say Kenyans drink a lot. And you need to find out the root of why the person is overdoing anything. Find out what is it that is making you, all these addictions going on. And our youth now, vaping and all that, and drugs and alcohol. Find out what is the cause of the person overdoing all these things. And you'll be surprised it's something that can be solved. All we have to do is listen and not blame and not shame. Take away the shame. This shaming thing, no, take away that and be open-minded. Then people will be open to say, I need help, and then you can help them. That's how I got through it.
I'll take one more question.
Mine is not a question, but just going back to what she asked is, when do you know when to seek help? How early, or what are the symptoms do you see so that you can know you need help? You know, besides stigma and all that,
Yes.
you know, you don't care about stigma, you don't, but when?
When you feel like you've hit rock bottom, you know, we know ourselves, but there's that part where we deny, right? Like I denied, I said, I don't think I'm getting angrier than I used to. But then there are other people around us. That's where we are connected. If you are working, all of us, I'm assuming we have jobs. Someone will tell you, hey, what's going on at their job, you know? Even colleagues, they'll tell you, what's going on? Why are you snapping? You know, or your boss will come and say, what's going on? You're showing up late. Your productivity is going down. So we may not be self-aware. That's where we need to connect so we can bloom. So someone can tell you. Most of the times people are telling us, but are we hearing it? That's where it is. People are speaking. And you see you're losing friends, or there's something happening. If people open up, they'll tell you you've changed. And then that's where you're like, okay, I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to lose my family. I don't want to lose the connection I have with people. Then now you take it to yourself and you have that coffee friend say, you know what? I'll go with you. I'll go with you. We'll see how we can get you help. And then medicine is fine. It's some of the mental health medicine is not long-term. It's part-time for you to get through a hurdle. So getting a friend and listening to the people around you. Someone?
I don't know. I have to wrap up. I have to wrap up. Unless you're going to make it like a second. Is it long? It's long? Okay, you can long later. Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Koinange. Thank you so much. Did we get something? Did we get something? One thing we got, you cannot do life alone. You can't do life alone. As a suicidal survivor, I learned the hard way. You can't do life alone. This session needs like a 2-hour session. But we'll have time later. We can connect and talk to each other, or, you know, not as a group again. But I'm just hoping that this is a conversation that we take. This conversation is in my house. I talk to my children. They know about it. It's not a secret. I'm not ashamed of it anymore. And that's why I'm able to stand here. Amen?
Because you're loved. Can you imagine?
I am so loved.
And that's where we are blossoming.
I'm pretty, huh? All right. So our next speaker. I don't like time kimbia. Is our Pastor Rhonda Collier. Is a senior pastor at Apostolic Tabernacle. She is a mother, a worshiper, and an entrepreneur. Can we just stand up and give her a shout out? And we're going to do like 15 minutes. And I know she can do it.
I can do it.
Yes.
I don't need a mic. I'm loud.
You don't?
Girl, I'm a pastor. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I was in the other session. So I had my time mixed up. So I was in that session first. I was in this session first. And then I was told it's supposed to be the other session. So it was getting real good and juicy. And everybody was real sharp. So now I'm here. So I'm talking to mentors. So it said the mentors of the moms. We're the ones who are always, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
So we're the ones that are always pouring out, right? Always giving. So I have an acronym for us. It is molding excellence. We're nurturing opportunities. We are training, overseeing, and renewing. We're doing all of that. That sounds real heavy, right? That's a whole lot of hats. So I'm just going to be real with y'all. I'm very real and I'm very transparent. So many times, life, as we say, what's the word? Life it so hard for me. Now, I don't know y'all's story, but like I said, I'm transparent. Some days, I don't know what the day of the week is. Do y'all ever do that? Mm-hmm. I'll wake up and I'll get mad because Alexa, we both on technology. Sometimes Alexa do what she's supposed to do, sometimes she don't. And I'll say, Alexa, what's today's date? And she don't say nothing. So then I'm looking on my phone, hey Siri, what's today's date? No response. So she didn't even say nothing. So sometimes that's how hard life is. Sometimes life is so hard that we don't know if we're going or coming as moms, right, as mentors. We're so busy pouring into others. We're so busy renewing others. I had to renew my daughter last night, so y'all saw I've been to the table out there, right? She is perfection. I wouldn't say a perfectionist, but she serves with the spirit of excellence. And because she couldn't produce the quality and quantity that she desired, she had a meltdown. But I'm pressing shirts. So as the mom, I had to take off the entrepreneur hat of doing what I was doing, grab her hand, pray for her because she was having an anxiety attack. So I had to tune into what was going on in that moment, grab her by the hand, pray for her, then pour back into her and renew her and say, you got this. I said, you do it. I'll stay all night if I have to. And I did. I was up to 2 o'clock. But I'm here this morning full of energy without coffee. Somebody said, that's Jesus. So that's what happens. As a mentor, we're constantly giving out. We're constantly pouring. And then when we're talking about cultivating our own garden, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes my garden be intertwined with other people's gardens. Because you're so busy, like, no, wait a minute, how'd they get? Oh, I planted that last year. But you forget because you're so busy taking care of everybody else. Now, 2 years ago, my husband passed away. And before my husband passed away, he was dealing with health issues. And I don't know if anybody in here has ever been a caregiver. But that is a different hat. And it takes more. You can't do that in your own strength. No. Yes. In your own strength, your garden wouldn't have a flower. It wouldn't have anything in it because it's so depleted. But I relied on the scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So I know that it was through God that I got through that. I was just telling the college students back there about when you decide what seeds you want to plant in your garden. Sometimes the seeds that you desire, baby, it is not what God has planned for you. I'm looking at my garden now. Nowhere did I plant a seed that said, wither. I didn't plant that. I most definitely didn't plant the one that said pastor. I didn't plant that. I don't know where that seed dropped on. That came from heaven. The seeds that were in my garden I had planted was a physical therapist or sports medicine therapist. I was not going to live here. I was going to be living somewhere in Atlanta. Somewhere outside of here, I was going to have a different type of house. The life I have now, none of these seeds were in my garden. Not what I planted. But then how many of you know that when you love God,